Welcome to Disrupted Science, the occasional conversation between the authors of the upcoming book, How the Internet Disrupted Science, now available for pre-order and coming to a town near you if you're in the Boston area. I'm Kent Anderson here with my co-author Joy Moore, and today is Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. Hey, Joy.
Hey Kent, how's it going?
It's going. We're talking a lot today about Claude. It's
Claude
like the
had
week of Claude.
the week of Claude. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny covering for all the news and opinion sources that we filter through. It's like such a juxtaposition of like this is the most exciting thing, and it's going to change the world, whereas the other half is like, bah!
Well, or just finding ways to use it to show that it's not as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
So just to back up and can give you a little bit of perspective. So, as you probably know, Anthropic released Claude Science, a product aimed at researchers and the pharma industry. And we both kind of just, I think, reflexively scoffed a little bit at that because,
hmm
I mean, I don't think any pharma company is sharing a patent with Anthropic. So,
No, no, but it's the idea is you've got trusted sources that you can then import into your science notebook into the bench for drug discovery, and specialized tools and things like that. And it'd be interesting to see what people in the drug discovery industry who are allowed to talk about such things think of that. But I'd be really surprised that the pharma companies haven't already developed pretty much everything that they need
yeah,
in terms of
exactly.
knowledge management and proprietary tools and things
Yeah.
like that.
Well, and you also, I mean, there's all sorts of IP stuff in there. Like if Claude is such a mixed bag of IP that,
Yeah.
it's like whose discovery was it? And, there's more going on here, but also, it's there are a couple of other things. So Zeynep Tufekci kind of popped up again talking in a column in the New York Times about how AI is not going to take your job. And she mentioned how LLMs don't do anything except kind of associative stuff, which
hmm
makes them, whether you constrain it to scientific sources only or you constrain it in any other way, they're still going to have the same fault in them.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, these drug companies probably already have enough, computing power and person power and brain power to do whatever they want, and they're not going to outsource that to an LLM. But even if they did, that's a huge risk, and it's not going to change their failure rate.
hmm
And then you have, the other story that caught our eye about Claude was how it was used to purchase fake concert tickets.
Right.
So
Yeah,
somebody
you
found,
can you can talk Claude into doing lots of things.
yeah,
Which is it's you could also probably talk it into, doing, you know, equally, malicious things on so-called authoritative data.
oh, some
Um,
people have already done that.
yeah.
Yeah,
But my take on it, also the timing of everything, they also announced that their Anthropic is doing their own drug development for rare diseases. And so they're getting into the game, but it won't compete with their new pharma customers who are going to
right.
they're going to buy all their enterprise licenses from them. And so that's a nice, cool, rare disease drug development
Well, it's a
is
story,
difficult.
right?
But that's what I was getting to
Yeah.
is the timing of this with all the blowback that's coming from the public is it's a nice PR deflect to say we care about science and health and patients, and so we are going to we're going to serve the world in this way. But with their track record of unreliability, lack of a path to, true anything,
Right. Well,
it
and
it's
also their bubble's deflating, right?
Right.
So the
Yeah.
stocks are going down. We've seen a market correction around SpaceX and
Hmm.
OpenAI, delayed their IPO and their film's been put on ice and nothing's really going their way except Claude Code seems to be something promising. But that makes sense because it's a highly restricted, verifiable output
Hmm.
set, right?
Yeah.
That both the input and the output is very constrained, and that gets to some other things we've been talking about lately. But so to me, it almost seems like a desperate attempt to blow up the bubble again, to like inflate
Hmm.
the bubble again. Well, we're doing science. Don't worry, we're
Yeah.
gonna cure all diseases, rare diseases. Pharma's gonna we're gonna save the world, and it's like at some point, maybe now,
Yeah.
it's like no, nice try, tired trope. We're
Yeah.
not believing it anymore. So
Well, the other thing I was thinking about, both for all of these systems and why they are interested in scientific research
hmm
and clinical research, is you can only convince the public to pay for subscriptions for whatever they want to a certain extent. You can only convince corporations to buy enterprise site licenses, to a certain extent. And
hmm
so that usage, especially with them changing the pricing for the tokens, is starting to drop off. But I can
right.
see how scientific researchers and medical practitioners, they do searches, they do queries every day as part of their
hmm
jobs. And
hmm
so maybe they are thinking we can migrate usage from other products and capture those users, because that's really what it's about. It's not about delivering the results, it's about capturing the usage,
Right.
both to show that they've got subscriber numbers going up, but also to learn about how people are using stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot to talk about here. I mean, we were talking about how Leap Space from Elsevier put out a paper evaluation service.
Hmm.
And we read the terms and conditions, and it was so hilarious because it's like, all this, don't worry, your paper stays yours. We just get an irrevocable perpetual license to the content to use however we want.
Yeah.
And that's exactly so they are honeypotting their this paper service is the honeypot so they can get content to train their LLM from
Well, and they're also
without even
charging,
having to accept a paper, right?
right, but they're also charging you to give them your information, because the free trial is only for 2 weeks.
That's true. Oh my gosh. Oh, people,
Yeah.
it's not magic. It's business and it's schemes and it's strategies to extract. It's extraction. It's still the extraction economy.
Right, but
It
by
really is.
dangling this shortcut carrot in front of
Right.
people for
Right.
just $5 a week, less than the price of a cup of coffee today.
Well, we didn't take any shortcuts getting to this point, did we?
Nope, not a
The
one.
book, the book is coming out in about a month,
Hmm.
and in about less than 3 weeks, we'll have our first book signing.
Yeah,
So we're doing an episode. We're going to call it "Book Time Approacheth." Are you ready to dive into that subject?
I'm ready. Let's do
Okay, it's
it.
going to be a little more cheerful than gloom and doom LLM. So here we go. All right. So Joy, can you believe it? We're a little over a month away from actually holding and watching sell like hotcakes copies of our book.
Yeah, I can't wait to get a copy. I didn't even get an ARC because we had too many requests for ARCs and we only get so many. So,
Yeah, I have one. It's right back there and it's signed by the warning. So
yeah. Hmm. Yes.
that was a moment. We'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. But we're finally in the tunnel.
Hmm.
People buying and reading our book. We've had some feedback, but one interesting little twist. There are lots of little twists as we've approached this point. One is that the original publication date was July 21st,
Hmm.
and it got pushed back because of supply chain issues and things like that. But when that date was the date, we managed to wrangle a few book signings in the like that date and the week after. And so our publisher's been great about working with us to make sure that those places get books in time. So if you want an early copy, there are at least three opportunities for
Yep.
you to buy one and see our smiling faces
Hmm.
as you get it signed. So the three that we have in pocket before publication date are and if you're in the area, we'd love to see you. You can RSVP now, and that'll help the bookstore understand how many copies to order as well. Porter Square Books in Cambridge on July 21st, Jabberwocky Books in Newburyport on July 24th, and then Northshire Books in Manchester, Vermont on July 25th. And
Hmm.
there's a good chance that I don't know, you tell me. I think at least at the last one, there's a good chance that three cute dogs will be
Yep.
in the area, and the first two, there might be just two cute dogs, right?
Yep.
So we'll have to see, but there may be dog proximity as well.
Hmm.
So you excited for those?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to head up the East Coast and get out of the swamp and see a bunch of people and get a little bit of New England summer in addition to getting out in the real world with this real book and seeing what people think, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, and so where you, I mean, Cambridge, it's again, it's in the middle of the summer, so I don't know how many people are going to be around.
Hmm.
But Porter Square Books is fantastic.
Yeah.
Thinking about tech and biotech area. Newburyport, it's fabulous bookstore for people up on the North Shore who don't want to go into the city. And
And
then,
there are a lot of people in scientific and scholarly publishing up in both of those areas, right?
oh
I mean,
yeah,
you've got MIT Press in
hmm,
Cambridge, you've got Harvard,
lots,
you've got EBSCO up in Newburyport land and a bunch of other
yeah.
publishers up and publishing type people. I mean, Aries used to be up there, in
Hmm.
fact. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Well, we'll be putting it out there for, for people to RSVP if you haven't seen it already.
yeah. And then Manchester, Vermont, that bookstore, Northshire Bookstore, is a
Hmm.
gem, just an absolute gem. It's one of those bookstores you walk in and you're like, oh, I am in a timeless bookstore.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about bookstores. They're kind of timeless when they're done, when they're really done right,
Hmm.
you know?
Yep. Have we talked about Barnes and Noble's retail expansion, which
I
is
don't think we have.
really interesting. So they have taken an approach in the last couple years where they are taking over kind of dead anchor spaces in malls.
Hmm.
But the way that they are managing their bookstores is that they're allowing the local people to pick books for their local constituents,
Which is super smart.
which is super smart. So I've been stalking my local Barnes and Noble and talking to them too. I mean, our publisher and the distributor is going to take care of getting the books there, but it
Right.
means that, I have a fighting chance of saying, "Hey, can you put this on up
Yeah.
front?" Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's a very good point because I find myself going to Barnes and Nobles more eagerly these days than I ever used to. And it's because when you walk in, it does have that kind of timeless local bookstore feel to a
Hmm.
much greater degree than it used to back in the, I don't know, 90s or early 2000s when it felt like a corporate ship had landed and,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, I think that's so smart move and it definitely carries over to the feel of the retail experience. So
Hmm.
that's great.
Yeah.
So anyhow, oh, go
Well,
ahead.
if we don't get prominently placed, I'll just put some on where I want it to be and take a picture real quick.
Yeah, we'll just sprinkle books. It's okay. We'll be the Johnny Appleseed of our book.
Yeah.
So we've got that going on. We're excited for that. And then there's another one on August 7th after publication date at Toadstool Books in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So
Hmm.
we'll also be up there. Then we have been talking to people and it's been funny because they're like, "Do you have a platform?" Remember those days when platform was the big word for a creative had to have a platform, and
Yeah.
luckily we do. It's at disruptedscience.com, and we had a head start with the geyser, and we started doing our podcast, and then it was actually easy to knit together into a site because we had the content going, and all of that. But there are some Easter eggs that we've started to drop into Disrupted Science. We'll mention those in a little bit, but you can find them there, and more will be appearing, I'm sure.
Hmm.
In fact, I've got one. Oh, I've got one I got to put up soon. I'll
Okay.
tell you about it in a bit, but well, after we're done.
Yeah.
Secret Easter egg.
Hmm.
And then we're actually scheduling, people are scheduling interviews with us.
Yeah.
How's that for a twist?
Well, we took the long way to get here, right? Because that's where we started out. When we
Yeah,
first, we were like, we need to tell this story and we need to go on podcasts. And people are like, who are you and what are you talking about? And
right.
then we realized, well, most people on podcasts have books. So, in order to make the story make sense, to get a narrative, let's write a book. And I think we've talked about this before. First, we thought it would be a university press. And then as we got into it and got more storytelling and things mixed in,
And feedback from some peer reviewers,
and
which was
feedback from
really
peer
critical.
reviewers.
So I want to
Yeah.
underscore that 5 million times is
Yeah.
that we got, for all you people who do peer review and don't think it matters, I do it and I know that it matters because I see the reaction from the authors who are very happy to get good advice. But we got that advice and we
Right.
benefited hugely from it. I mean, it totally changed the game for us. And so,
And
whoever you were, we don't know
mhm,
who you were. Thank you immensely. It was
mhm.
exactly the right what
Well,
we needed to hear.
and it wasn't it goes back to peer review within a community, within a
Hmm.
context,
Right,
because they were reading this book for a university press, potential academic or business book, and the
right,
feedback was this is not appropriate for this audience.
right. This is a rip roaring story. We got to
This
get
is a
this out.
bigger story.
Yeah.
And that's that's the difference between peer reviewing a single piece of a publication or an article or a book in a vacuum. Is this good or
Hmm.
bad? I don't
Right,
know. Yes, no. Is this good? Is this right for the community that it's intended to
right. For this
serve?
press. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. And then we
mm,
got, the contract in like 4 days later
yeah.
from the
So-
commercial publishers, like, yep, please, thank you. But so now we're getting invited onto podcasts. We'll start to filter out when those, I think most of them are going to be appearing right around the time of the book's official publication.
Mhm.
But we'll make sure, to notify people and so on and so forth. You'll get tired of us. It's get ready. But one of the interesting things is there's the podcast area is we thought we knew podcasts in this space,
Yeah.
but one of our PR people has a gift for finding podcasts we've never heard of, and they're good ones.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which is,
so we're going to be on some podcasts that we didn't know about, but they're kind of perfect.
yeah.
So
And that we've become fans of. There's only so much I can put in my ears and my brain per day. I'm trying to keep up.
poor Joy, she's got a podcastitis.
I know. It's like my walks in the woods are getting longer and longer.
No, and it's getting hotter and
It's getting hotter and hotter.
steamier too. The poor dogs. I feel bad for your dogs. They're the ones who are like, "Can we go now?" No, I've got two more podcasts.
Hey, I don't feel bad for my dogs because they gave
Okay.
me a nightmare this morning. I was
This
gonna take
morning.
this morning
Oh
before I
no,
was
they've
gonna
given
take.
you a nightmare a week lately.
Yeah, this morning it was so rude. I was getting ready to take them for a hike
Rude
before it
dogs.
got too hot, and then I came out and I put their GPS collars on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a virtual fence.
Mm-hmm.
And Fish, the boy, was standing at the edge of the property
Mm-hmm.
with this like I'm a good boy face,
Mm-hmm.
and Fritzy was nowhere to be seen
Oh,
for like half an hour.
yeah.
And so she went down into the swamp, and I had the neighbors that all the neighbors were out because there was also a fox screaming. And that was
Wow.
woke
What a
everybody up.
neighborhood
And
you
so
live in.
then, and so finally she comes back and she is black from head to toe,
Right.
completely covered in muck. So
Mm-hmm.
then And so the neighbors thought it was hilarious, and she was so happy. And so I had to take him down for a swim.
Living the
Um,
life.
yeah, to rinse it off. And then Fish decided to take a 45-minute, doggy paddle around the river and refused to come in. So they're on restriction.
Those are naughty dog kids. That's so funny. They're running you ragged. I love it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go listen to my podcast by myself. But it's also good to for us right now to be consuming lots of what other people are talking about, both, in podcasts, but also what people are writing about, because part of the process of promoting the book is writing op-eds.
Right.
And so that's taking, mining for current topics, or what parts of the book should
Right.
we
Angle into a current
angle
topic.
into a current topic,
Yep.
for a magazine.
Yep.
And
Or a
so,
podcast because some of the podcasts are covering news
yeah,
items and it's like, you're talking about it in kind of the way without our book in existence.
yeah,
But if you'd read our book, you would talk about it in a different way because here's the whole angle on it that you don't know about. And that's one of the things that I still love about our book, which is there are stories in here that nobody knows to tell.
we see that every single day. Well,
Yeah.
there was one, oh, the one we were listening to this morning with,
Hmm.
and it was about Facebook, and
Right.
we're
And
like,
Meta.
but we have in Meta, and it's like we've got two more important things, that
Yeah.
would
That you
round
don't
out
know
your
about.
story. Yeah. So, we want to get out there also as, people to consult about certain things,
Right.
as
Right.
well.
Yeah. I think people don't realize how much, the book is a lot about how Silicon Valley ideas have changed scientific publishing, but they don't realize how much scientific publishing was borrowed from by Silicon Valley too, and it still goes on. But all right, so we're drafting potential op-eds. We're getting those in play. Our PR people are working on that. We're also getting some early feedback from the advanced reader copies,
Hmm.
and it's so far so good on that front. It
Hmm.
seems, and or advanced review copies, ARCs. I just learned the abbreviation and roll with it. But yeah, and we then have had some fun experiences with those too. So a friend of ours went to Cannes
Hmm.
and was reading the book, and we said, well, if it happens to fall into Kara Swisher's bag, that wouldn't be a bad thing. And it didn't, but she got Kara to sign it. So
Yeah.
we will be getting a signed copy of our book with Kara Swisher saying an important, much needed book, I think is what she
Hmm.
wrote. And then I took a copy down to New York City for a meet and greet with my favorite band, The Warning,
Hmm.
and got them to sign it. And one of the chapter title borrows a title of their song. And so their drummer, who's hilarious, she wrote "See You in Court" with a heart next to it. Copyright violation. But
No, no, just to correct, remember the publisher, the
I
editors
know I
did clear
asked.
all the copyright. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
because there were a couple we had to change.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Remember? Yeah.
Yeah, but anyhow, yeah, tongue in cheek, totally, totally fine,
Hmm.
But and then we got a photograph of Derek Barris from the Conspirituality podcast and book that we both admire,
Hmm.
who had received our ARC, and he happened to receive it on his birthday.
Yeah.
So we wished him a happy birthday. Free book.
Hmm.
I'm sure he just absolutely
He's like, this is what
was
I
thrilled.
always wanted for my birthday.
A book from out of the blue by two people I don't know. But but yeah, so now we're kind of trying to wrap our heads around the challenge, which is it's been a while since we've finished the book, and we haven't talked about it that much. But now we kind of have to get our heads around the fact that we are going to be introducing people to the book for the
Yeah.
first time, and kind of shifting back almost a year to be like, oh, so tell us about your book, and
Hmm.
remembering that you people don't know about it because for us it's
Yeah.
like old hat.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's been a really good exercise, especially after, kind of going back and rereading it now.
hmm
And picking out, some of the things that we thought would be the most exciting excerpts. Uh, well, most of them still are, but there are others that might be more relevant, and really just preparing, our cliff notes and our talking points, and things that will, what we really want to do is elicit feedback,
hmm
and questions, right?
hmm
Because we aren't exhaustive by any means.
right.
And so it'll be really interesting to find out which topics people or interpretations, people find surprising
hmm
and want to know more about.
hmm
And then I guess they'll just ignore all the stuff that they don't care about. But
Like I do when I read a book.
right.
But so there were a lot of facts and figures in the book, so we took the time to put together a list of those just for reference because we want to be factual if we have the chance to be. And then I think that, the key is going to be remembering why we wrote the book. You
Yeah.
know, it's because it was a story that hadn't been told and nobody knew about. And you and I were just like, this blind spot is so glaring to us. We know what's missing. This panel of reality is gone and nobody's talking about it in the public, and they need to. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
but
And there might be other people within the industry who read this book and say, "Oh yeah, I already understood how all these things are connected." But we did go outside of the publishing industry. It's not just about publishing in tech, but
no.
it's about the rest of the academic and business ecosystem that has tied into it.
Well, I mean, you and I both were very clear in our minds, I think, that we didn't write it for people in the industry.
No.
It's not, it's, they'll enjoy it, I hope, and or find it, like irritating or whatever,
Yeah.
but, and hopefully engaging. They can hate read it. You can hate read it as long as you hate buy it.
Hmm.
But it's written in I hope a style and with the kind of flair and arc and energy that's going to make it so that people outside will appreciate kind of what has transpired and how things have gone a little bit sideways, more than a little bit sideways. Because
Hmm.
we were just talking about how I think one of the most kind of adventurous statements that we make is that science isn't is scientific papers aren't for the public, and we've been interviewed about this before. And we keep finding all of these indications that when the public's sentiment is riled up around science, it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It very easily can be turned into a bad thing. Like the OMB science, reporters at Science just dug through the proposed OMB rule changes, and they found this provision where, like a lot of these populist politicians, they're like, well, if I can just rally up enough pitchforks and torches, I can make your science go away.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing for a society that embraces academic independence, scientific integrity,
Hmm.
and scientific exploration, because one of the coolest things about science is that it starts out with, I don't know, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't,
Yeah.
and you can't have people shouting it down a
Right.
priori.
Right. And so they're censoring, they're censoring and controlling what they can.
Hmm
And I can't remember his name, the nutritionist from NIH, who wrote the paper about milkshakes aren't as addictive as heroin, and ended up writing a book about it, which I need to get. But he's like, dude, I've
You're
been
going to
here
make me
for
want to get a
30 years.
milkshake.
Right.
It's much easier to
But
get than heroin, I can tell you that much. So,
But it was a responsible paper saying we
right,
did not find a correlation between ultra processed McDonald's milkshakes or whatever brand,
right,
but further study is required. And so they
right.
said, no, you can't promote it, and no, you can't talk about it to the press. So that they're,
Oh,
they're
that
shutting
that
that.
guy. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
really good. And then they are, monkeying around with the grants and, shutting off grants that have already been approved and adding in new steps. So they're making all these, hurdles for the people that they can control. But then on the flip side, they're more than happy to,
Kevin
um,
Hall.
Kevin Hall. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
I've got his book on hold, Food Intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, on the flip side, and we were reading a PNAS paper about this,
It's a good paper.
that it's a really, really good paper, that these authors looked at sharing and scientific
Right.
accuracy cues. It's
Amplification. Right.
amplification and all that. I won't go into the details, but because it's worth reading yourself. But the takeaway is, and it's common knowledge, right? That fake news travels faster than true news. And so the
Hmm.
people who are sharing scientific information the most are on the right. And they're
Hmm.
sharing things that they think are true or have some kind of attribution, because somebody, probably some influencer, pushed it to them, far more than people on the left are sharing
Right.
things that are true.
Well, and they also are using signs of credibility signals, right?
Hmm.
So they're using their, and we saw this yesterday or the other day when Stat News covered the Claude in Science thing, where you put some sort of academic affiliation or academic credential after somebody's name to just make it so people feel more confident
Hmm.
spreading the news, right?
Yeah.
And but that's you know, a I was just reading Norman Mailer talking about PhDs of jargon. And you know the PhD octopus and PhDs this and that and PhD. You know we all know. I think most of us know what it takes to get a PhD, and it doesn't mean it means you know a lot about a little, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes a very narrow little. But it doesn't mean that you're a a working person in that field necessarily, or active and up to date in that field. And they talked about Dario Amodei having a PhD in neuroscience or neurobiology
No, yeah, biophysics, I think.
or
Yeah.
biophysics or something like that. And it's like, okay, but how long has it been since he's touched grass in biophysics?
Well,
And
yeah, what does that have to do
what
with
does it
the
have to do with the price of
running?
rice in China, right? It's like, okay, fine. So he's
Yeah.
got a PhD, but that's if they'd left that out, I
Hmm.
wouldn't have missed it.
Yeah.
But they try to show that because it's about science, we're going to bring all their scientific credibility, their PhD octopus
Hmm.
flash and trash stuff to it and say, okay, here you go. Here's the splash of his academic credibility. And to further bolster, and it made it feel like PR for them.
Yeah. Well, it is, and that's the way that the media and social media have picked up, especially the now that we don't have so very many true science journalists anymore, is they
Right.
see a paper and it's got a fancy um, institution attached to it. And so they're going to put that in the headline. And we've been seeing this time and time again that, first of all, not every paper from a fancy institution is something that should be communicated to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when it is, it's usually for an ulterior motive than,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I did this research and I want other scientists to read it. And so, yeah, we're sticking with our position that scientific papers are for other scientists within certain scientific communities, and there's
Mm-hmm.
lots of ways to get the people who need it what they need. And then this morning, I was thinking like the more radical would thing would be is that scientific papers are not for big tech. Um,
Right.
I know that ship has sailed, the train has left the station, but that's kind of my, the more that we're pushing scientific papers and certified research into the hands of one, two, three companies who are using it to to enrich
Why?
themselves.
Right,
It's like
right.
why?
Yeah.
And it's working against the scientists
Yep.
who most responsible scientific publishers are there to serve.
Right,
So
right. Oh boy,
unplugged.
we're still worked up about it.
Sorry.
No, we love. I mean, this is
Yeah.
writing the book was part of a journey, Joy. We're on a journey,
Oh, our book journey. Come with
and we're
me.
about.
Yeah, follow along with us as we take you on our book journey. Sorry, we've
All
already
right.
done that. You've been
No,
subjected.
no. Yeah, 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 that's right. Sorry, people. If you're listening to this, you've been on it, and we hope you're enjoying the ride. We certainly are actually because it's also, having this kind of framework and framing, I think we can sniff things out pretty fast now
Hmm.
and put an interpretation on it that is at least right now a little bit unique, right? Because a lot of
Hmm.
people, it's like, why did you mention PhD? That's weird, you
Yeah.
know, and
Hmm.
that kind of catch, I hope, becomes more common where people are like, why wait, that there's a reason they're doing that,
Yeah.
right? There's a reason that tech wants this, and it's not about science and discovery, it's about power and authority. And and anyhow, so lots coming out of writing the book, and now we're going back into talking about the book, and it's kind of refocusing us on the framework of the book, which I think stands up pretty well to inform
Hmm.
greater scrutiny and skepticism, which is important.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to be in the hot seat and we're ready for it.
Bring it. All right, let's go on to discoveries of the week. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right. All right, discoveries of the week. Joy, you're up first.
I consumed so much media in the last week that my brain is broke. Lots and lots of lots and lots of like interesting tips and things like that. I'm going to keep it simple. I discovered two things this morning, other than
Mm.
that my dogs can be total jerks at inconvenient times, and I need to figure out how to reboot the GPS collar.
Mm.
The other thing I learned this morning, doing the spelling bee, um,
Mm.
is
Yes,
that
New York
hiccuped
Times spelling bee.
the New York Times spelling bee, which is part of my morning coffee routine. Wake up
Yep.
and try to spell as many words as you can is a good way to start the
Wake up.
day.
Yep.
That hiccuped can be spelled two ways.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
just
You can,
dropped a clue to me.
yep, you can spell it with one P.
Oh.
Why do they do that? That's
What a dirty
annoying.
trick. That's another dirty dog trick.
That is a dirty dog trick.
Oh, those monsters at the New York Times.
Yeah. And then the other thing I discovered,
You know what I learned yesterday
what?
on Spelling Bee?
What?
They accept woohoo as a word.
No, it's Wahoo.
No, it was woohoo too.
Oh, there was a woohoo and a Wahoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, woohoo? Really? Okay.
Whammo. Yeah,
Oh, that one was so weird.
all the cartoon words. Yeah. I
Yeah.
wonder if they have an official dictionary like they do with Scrabble.
I'm impressed by the tech, honestly, of that whole Spelling Bee app because so you
Yeah.
have the spelling app on your phone, and
Hmm.
then it's whether you're using a browser on your phone or on your computer, it knows what you've already done.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I know how it's happening, but it's so beautifully done that it does feel very smooth and like it's so nicely done. They're doing a really good job with it.
Yeah, well, there was a really good interview with the woman who runs the New York Times the other day with Kara
Mm. Oh,
Swisher in Cannes.
right. Yep.
And they were talking about quality and things like that. But the games are such an important part of engagement.
Yep.
And they've really invested in them because yeah, I feel I get all anxious if I haven't done the connections and the spelling bee. And it's not that I'm tracking my progress, it's just part of my daily routine,
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
it's gotten that way for me and my kids too, because and then I'll be, so I'll text my son, "Have you done connections yet?" And he's like,
Hmm.
"No." I say, "Yeah, but I missed one, or I had one error," and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't have any." So, ha ha ha. So it's a great thing. And I remember when they bought Wordle, everybody was like, "Why are they spending five?" It was like $5 million or
Yeah.
something to buy Wordle from this independent
From
developer who
yeah,
just
who
dreamed
ma
it up.
he made it for his girlfriend in the
Right.
pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, it was his
Yeah.
little gift to his girlfriend,
Hmm.
and I hope she married him because you know
I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, it was they've done a very good job of building it out. So
Hmm.
an engagement, but it's an engagement in the New York. It's the style of the New York Times, right?
Yeah.
It's words and it's concepts and it's knowledge and it's it's dorky, nerdy
Hmm.
stuff and it's so and it's fun, so yeah, big fans.
Hmm.
All right, hiccup can be
Hiccuped.
spelled in two ways.
Yes. And then my other discovery of the morning is that um, there is a farm just like 2 miles away that I've never been to. And I was talking to a fellow dog lady,
Hmm.
and she was telling me that they have the most amazing produce. And so I discovered what I'm going to be doing after we hang up. I'm going to go there and buy some strawberries and peaches and corn and stuff.
Nice, nice. I love beets season.
Mmm.
Nothing like fresh beets.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good. So good luck. I hope you have a good harvest.
Thank you.
Yep. So my discovery comes from near Porter Square Books, actually, not too far
Okay.
from there. So in Cambridge, Massachusetts, there's Mount Auburn Cemetery. And I learned this week that cemeteries and churchyards are islands of biodiversity in urban landscapes because they're big, they're old, they're generally quiet, and they're generally perfect for biodiversity. They have a lot of trees and they have a lot of undisturbed surround and all of these things. But the Mount Auburn Cemetery popped up because it opened in 1831. It occupies 175 acres. It's in one of the most densely developed areas of North America, Boston metropolitan area. But it contains more than 5,000 trees across hundreds of species,
Mm.
which is interesting. It's also part of Frog Watch USA, which is a national citizen science program managed by the Akron, Ohio Zoo.
Ah.
And it's funny that this came up because so I used to ride my bike in the early morning throughout a lot of the suburbs in Boston. And there's a period of the spring where you can hear what we call the peepers, right? You can
Hmm.
hear the little frogs starting to, make their little annoying chirping sounds as they're turning from tadpoles into frogs, and they're all over the place. There would be these locations through it as I rode from, where I lived to inside 128 or around 128, where I'd be like, whoa, lots of peepers, lots of peepers. And so Mount Auburn Cemetery is that kind of place, but the grown-up frogs also live there. So people go there and they listen for different frog noises and they count and document and turn those in. And over time, there's a
Hmm.
frog watch. And so, do you hear a new species that you've never heard before? Or, is one gone quiet and all this kind of stuff. So I thought it was really fascinating. I'll put a link in the show notes to the story that got me on this, uh, this discovery. But I just didn't anticipate Mount Auburn Cemetery would be alive with the sound of frogs.
That's really cool. That's that's I'm everyone should find some citizen science project that they care about and count some things and send it to some scientists who need your help, you know.
Yeah.
It's the least we can do.
Well, I'm gonna break protocol. Since you had two discoveries, I'm gonna throw in another citizen science one that I discovered right before we started recording. And
Okay.
that is, I told you briefly about it, Beth Ann's
Hmm.
Rock.
Hmm.
So this is a little museum in Poole, England. And I guess the story is that in 2019, a 5-year-old girl named Beth Ann had a nice little rock collection that she was extremely proud of, and she had her best rock. And she went to the museum with her family, with her mother, and she took her best rock and she asked them if they could please put it on display behind some glass so that other people could enjoy her best rock and it would be safe there and other people could enjoy it. And so she was donating it. It was found on a beach by her grandmother and given to her.
Mm.
So that was part of the reason it was her favorite. But now it is on display in a glass case and labeled Beth Ann's Rock 2019. And it's a very simple, generous act that the museum is proud to honor. And now
Hmm.
people come and visit Beth Ann's Rock and admire it and get joy from it like she wanted. And I thought that was just so lovely.
That is fantastic.
Yep. So if you have a favorite rock and a museum
Hmm.
nearby, give your favorite rock to an adorable 5-year-old and
Yeah.
let then you know what to do from there. All right. Well, I think that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you at one of the book signings. Thanks to our friends at Provoke the Truth for the music. If you have topics you want us to cover, please email us at disruptedscience@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you have feedback on the book at any point down the line, we'd also love to hear from you. You can also keep up with developments at the Geyser, where you can subscribe to support our efforts. Thanks so much for the listens and all the feedback, and we'll talk at you soon.
See you later. Bye.